we got back together because I was like, oh, we're even now. You hooked up with Carrie's cousin. I cheated on you. We both kissy. It's all good. And then that Carrie's cousin ended up becoming.
No.
Yeah.
Tickets are on sale for KFC Radio Live. Click the link in the bio. Get yours. Come out and hang with the boys.
Yo, it's like
It's
I
been
kind of
raining
like
here
it.
for like 6 straight months.
I've been here since Friday.
Oh, Friday, please. It's been raining for literally months on it.
I'm so happy I decided to move to LA.
Oh, you made the move.
Since
Since you blew up?
yeah,
Getting rich now?
Yeah, since my IG. Since I got 20,000 followers.
You're from Kentucky, right?
Yeah. Well,
Were you still there?
no, in Atlanta. That's where I started comedy.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
We were just talking about Atlanta. We had Country Wayne on, and I was saying I feel like Atlanta is kind of having its like a little bit of a come up. I think there's always like rap music and like, black culture was there, but I think there's more movies and like just in general, I feel like Atlanta's.
Yeah, because all the studios have moved there.
Yeah.
Marvel's there.
Why is that's the one I was trying to think of.
Marvel's there.
Marvel is there for some reason. That
like,
blows my mind. That all Marvel movies and shit are going on in Atlanta.
they're there. It's because of taxes. They have like a tax cut.
Got it.
So a lot of LA studios have like a studio outside Atlanta. Like Spade he just filmed a game show in Harem, Georgia, which is right outside. And they have like game show studios out there.
What do you think of Noonan?
What?
Noonan. What do you think of Noonan, Atlanta? Noonan, Georgia, right?
What?
Yeah.
You don't know
What?
Noonan? No, it's a good spot.
I definitely think I did a bar show there on a Tuesday one time.
Yeah, that checks out. That makes sense.
He randomly has.
No, I
he has a
honestly
real
don't
estate-
even know. I'm not very
investor
good
there.
with direction. Like outside
45
Atlanta.
minutes south of the airport.
He'll tell you.
Oh,
He'll tell
the
you.
airport's like that's not good.
Past
Past that is worse. When you get to the airport, you're like, go back,
Look,
back. Stay
we all make
here.
mistakes with money sometimes.
Wait, what? You have a place in New
I have a place in
Well, he has
In
like an investment spot. Not like he doesn't live there. He just bought a spot and like rents it. The most
To who?
Yeah.
to people on the run?
Dude.
Do you need a
why-
flop house?
Why Noonan?
Dude, I don't know, man. I'm
Who
not good
approached you with this?
a friend's friend. And I never met him.
Everything about
If
this.
you have anything that you want to pitch or sell right now, like just start talking to him. He'll do it.
Someone
was just like, "Hey, man, I got this real estate thing going on in Noonan. You want in?" He was like, "Sure."
I don't even
Oh
know
my God.
if I've told Kevin like how the details of it, where it's like a friend of a friend. My friend was like, "Hey, this friend wants to talk to you about this like
Which
real
is
estate
already
thing."
so annoying.
And I was like, "Sure, whatever." And he called
She's a
me.
good friend.
No,
And,
Dude, how are you alive?
that's like Yo, listen, girl, you have only scratched the surface. My
Okay,
man is
so-
an iceberg. Everything beneath is even crazier.
And he called me, and I was pretty drunk, and I was
Everything gets
I
worse.
was at a bar in Martha's Vineyard in December, and I left to go sit in a car because like my friend had driven there, and I went and just sat in the car, and I was like, "Yeah, this all sounds good," and he's like, "Word, just like not Venmo me, but transfer
Wire
me
money, yeah.
Are you
this
shitting
amount of
me?
money." It was a lot of money.
It was a lot of money.
and I was like, "Word," and I gave it to him.
It was mid 5 figs.
Yeah.
For a halfway house in Noonan?
Basically.
Are you kidding me?
And then like the next day there was a hurricane that like came pretty damn close to it.
That-
Or a
no, it
tornado,
ripped
right?
through
Oh, it's like an
Ripped through
insurance
it.
thing? Was this?
Yeah.
That's genius. That's like really smart.
And one of the worst part is the guy called me like 3 months later. He realized he got a hook on me, and he's like, "I got a new spot in South Carolina," and I was like, "Oh, I'm in." So-
He's like, guys, I got a shark.
Yo. So if you need a spot in Noonan, Georgia, or Rock Hill, South Carolina,
Rock Hill, South Carolina.
Oh, dude, I know about Rock Hill.
it's,
I know Rock Hill. It's right outside Columbia.
That's like
kinda.
Charlotte.
The
Charlotte.
pitch was
Yeah,
like
yeah.
for people who don't want to live in North Carolina but be close to it or something.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
You love Charlotte but hate North Carolina taxes. I got a spot
There
for
you go.
If you love Charlotte but you don't want to be in Charlotte,
Yeah.
move to Maine. Don't move to Rock Hill. Wow,
Dude.
this is great, dude. You don't have much time left.
No.
You're gonna have like
Oh.
tax fraud.
Yeah.
soon.
Already have it. Already have it.
Yeah,
No
dude,
shit.
Yeah,
Totally.
Yeah. Already.
We
I
were
already have a
talking
lien on my
taxes
money.
recently, and that you really
Yeah.
So prior to that, we were talking about taxes and just like some of the ins and outs and stuff, and he was like, "So wait, you have to do what with taxes?" And then, yeah, he lost literally all of his money this year to taxes.
All of it. It's gone.
From 2017 or something.
2017.
It was 2017 that he just wasn't paying taxes on something, so they took it all, and he had negative money in his account.
And I haven't fixed that issue.
Do you know you have to pay off credit cards? Do you do that?
He just learned. You are on fire, Katherine.
Oh my god!
Yo, we literally like 2 days ago on our radio show, I was like, we were talking about if you have debt, and he was like, I don't consider credit card debt, and I was like, well, it's not like huge debt, but it's accruing interest and blah blah blah. And he was like, say what now? Back it up to that part. What about interest? And
I'm literally not gonna say how much credit card debt I have.
What do you have? You have like 20K?
More.
25?
More.
30?
Did you think it was free money? I know somebody
you lost all your cash, so of course you have to use your credit card.
I don't have any money. Dude. Like, it's great.
Do you have a family?
No. I mean, I have a family like my parents.
He's like a single guy, but like.
Oh, thank God. Oh my God! I held my breath. I was like, no, you shouldn't. I'm. You know what people are like? China shouldn't. I'm above China. I'm like, we should control everything. You should have whatever reproductive organs you should have them removed immediately. The government should come in here and see. They should be like, we will absolve all your credit card debt if we can snip you up.
Honestly, I don't even think we have to worry about it.
I think we do. Have you heard?
We've a couple times.
Yeah,
couple.
Let's just say they swim.
Yeah, he probably has 3 Noonan sons running around right now. He has no idea about.
Dude,
you just go. I have no money.
Yeah, he just texted you. We got a new Noonan.
It's I don't know, man.
He just kind of lives.
Figure it out.
Living life.
This is terrifying.
He also has.
Is it though? It's like
I thought I was lost, but I feel really good about myself right now.
He also,
that's why people come on this show.
Yeah.
You want to feel better about yourself? You come to the right place, sister.
What do you live here?
Yeah, lives here. He
live?
employs child labor to clean his apartment.
Yeah.
We just
not intentionally.
Not intentionally. They just showed up. Like,
I've had a cleaning person for a long time, and
they come at night.
They come at night.
That's weird. No, have you ever heard of that? Like it'll be like 9 o'clock at night, and he has to leave his apartment because he's uncomfortable that his cleaning family is there.
And like, I never knew it was a family because I have like a lockbox. I don't have a doorman, but I have a lockbox, and I just leave the key. And then one time I came fairly recently. I came back, and I could see because I can see into my apartment.
Because he has no blinds.
I don't have blinds.
He has no curtains or blinds.
Do you have a bed?
It's funny you say that. But just recently you got like a full bed, right?
Yeah, and it's like floating. Like I don't have like
he doesn't have a
nightstand or anything like that.
He didn't have an air conditioner for the first 5 years he lived in this apartment. He would just lay naked on his bed.
We're all like making fun of him, but if there's a zombie apocalypse, he somehow
he is a zombie.
The zombies start following him. And he's like, I don't even know what I did. And they're like, our king, our leader. And he's like, I just wake up and shit.
He eats out of what he calls his slop bucket. He cooks. He does cook every day for himself, and he does work out a lot. Those are two things is undeniable about him. He's in good shape, and he does eat relatively healthy, but disgustingly. He'll cook a meal on Monday, 2 meals for himself, and then the leftovers go in the bucket. And then he cooks something on Tuesday, and that goes in the bucket. And by Wednesday and Thursday, he's just having like pork mixed with eggs mixed with pizza, just in a bucket. Literally, it's a bucket.
Just like stew.
Yeah.
That
actually doesn't. Stew sounds good to me. What he does is, I don't know.
It's like a dry stew.
Yeah. Do you just kind of like? do you just like turn off any like wants or desires in your brain, and you're just like, I don't need
that's actually a pretty good
blinds or good food?
I don't think I turn them off. I just don't have.
He does not want for much, and not meaning he has a lot of means. He just does not.
Yeah, no,
just simple life.
Yeah,
there's a lot of ways I'm actually jealous of him.
I know. You would have thrived in the 1800s.
Yeah.
Sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
Definitely. He would have been like king. They would have elected him like king of America.
I think a good way to like put like an analogy on a type deal is just like I'm fine with it's fine. Kevin always gets mad at me when because I don't like changing. Like I'll stay in this until I go to bed tonight. And he's like, you don't put on sweatpants when you go home. And
we have a big jeans versus sweatpants debate. Like I get home, my pants are off literally as I'm walking through the door, and my sweatpants are on while I hit the couch.
Kind of tight.
Yeah. He will stay in and he also dresses pretty fashionably, so he'll stay in like plaid, fucking not slacks, but just like if you hang out in your jeans, it's one thing. He wears like pants to bed. It's crazy.
Oh, that's disgusting.
Not
I
to
don't
bed.
Not to bed, but
like,
till he goes to bed.
When I get
Midnight.
to bed, I drop them on my floor by my bed, and I get in bed.
It could be midnight. That's crazy.
Yeah,
we
I
get
think
off
'cause
work
you-
at like 2. He gets home and stays in his clothes for 10 more hours.
You're like, you don't have like a like you. I'm like you, where I'm like I can't wait to be comfortable. Like I'm like I
Literally
need all
instantly.
my desires met the second I have them.
Yes,
Like
yes.
if I have an itch, figuratively and like mentally, I'm like I have to itch it immediately.
Totally.
You don't have like that. That switch has been turned off in your brain. Like you don't have itches.
No.
You're just like I live.
He does. He
I
just-
wake up. I eat. I go
Totally.
to bed.
It's yeah.
Yeah.
it,
Nothing hurts.
But it's also well,
yeah.
no.
It's just like
he is the best at like there's a lot of internet hate and a lot of criticism and a lot of outrage and a lot of anger and arguing, and he's just like, I don't need any of that.
you're like.
Whereas I'll probably have a heart attack, like
Yeah.
he's just like, I don't care.
I am kind of like you in a little bit.
It's admirable.
Yeah. I get. Are you asexual?
pretty much. Yeah.
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 I'm kind of no.
Well,
Like in his later years, he's gotten that way, but like for sure not in the beginning. Come on,
Yeah.
Well, like,
we've
here's
all
the deal.
told stories here.
Here's the deal.
you know,
Like
for sure not.
like if
threesomes in
What?
New Orleans with as a cuck. Like, come on. You can't say
did?
you're not sexual.
But I don't
nowadays,
know
he's
it, but
like,
I can guarantee you they were just like, do you want to keep doing it? And you were just kept being like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
100%.
Okay.
Yes.
And then you just showed up in the room. Like
Yeah.
you didn't orchestrate anything.
1,000%.
And he
You're
never
just-
will.
Yeah.
He's a good.
I'm just a
guy
down the
and,
ride. Like you want to fuck around? Like let's do it. All right,
like sex will like fall into his lap, but he'll never be like on an app like 5 dates a week
Yeah.
trying to fuck these
I
girls.
think I've
like,
said
never.
if you count sex as like you actively pursued it and you wanted to have it and it was like you were the orchestrator.
Yeah.
I've had sex like 3 times.
He's been raped. He's been raped most of his life, is what we're saying. He's been a sexual assault victim for the last like 20 years.
Like I'm always like whatever, you can do whatever you want.
Right.
But-
You're the one that they come to and they're like, we have another witness. We have another victim. Do you want to testify? And then they hear your story. They're like, he's not getting on the podium. We're not. He gets on the podium. He's like, I mean, it was quite nice. Honestly, I kind of like it. They're
Strike that from the record.
And they're like, get off. The defense rest. Fuck.
I wasn't really
There-
into
there
it. Once
was,
we got going, I had a good time.
Fine. Yeah. I didn't even know that toy existed.
There was one story that sums up that side of him very well. He was in bed in the morning, and the new trailer for Fast and the Furious 10 had just dropped. And
Was this 2002?
Bro, this is like a year ago.
yeah, no,
Okay. I don't know
Fast
what
and-
number we're
10.
on.
Yeah, no, but we just did 10.
Yeah.
Okay,
So-
okay.
so
I thought we
it's-
were on
you would
letters
think
now.
we're on like 20, but
Yeah.
it is Fast X. You're right. So Fast
Yeah.
Fast and Furious 10, and he was in bed, and it was somebody was, trying to get frisky in the morning, and he was like, I gotta watch the trailer for Fast and the Furious.
You're perpetually
And it was like a
12.
4-minute trailer. So
It-
she was like,
Oh my
"What is going on?"
God.
It was like some real like she's like, well then can I like play with
Take care of
myself? And I was
myself?
like, you can do whatever the fuck you want.
So she just took care of herself while he watched a 4-minute trailer for Fast and the Furious 10.
She was probably done before it was over.
Yeah, definitely. I had a
I'm
few
not
in
your
that time.
gatekeeper. You can do whatever the fuck you want, man. You're an adult.
I can see like women after you because you don't give a shit. They're just like,
Oh, yeah.
they're just like, I can't crack it.
Totally. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. God,
Totally
you're a
that.
phenomenal species. I feel I thought I like cared about stuff until I did move to LA, and then like these
You realize
people are
how
horny.
easygoing you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like they're like I mean they're like sex monkeys. They're just they can't wait to do the most insane like nasty. They're like peel my skin back and fuck my skull. And you're like,
Is this? Are you getting propositioned, or you're just saying you hear stories from other people?
I just hear people talking
Yeah.
about it, and I'm like, does anybody hold hands anymore?
Yeah.
I like turn into a grandpa.
Just
I'm
a
like,
little like D in the V, you know?
yeah, I know, and I'm like, I thought like I enjoyed it, but I'm like, I know I feel asexual.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, I don't.
I
Care
think that
this
like
much about it.
most of like my friends, or not most, but like a fair amount of my friends growing up were like people who were like medically prescribed, like they were addicted to vagina, and like they'd go out and they'd be like, I'm like, dude, I don't fucking. They like they're the kind of people who like show up to a
Yeah.
bar, like, dude, where the chicks at? I don't fucking care. I'm gonna get fucked up, like,
Right.
and so I would almost rebel against that. Where it
Yeah,
was
you
like-
really showed them by never fucking anybody.
I was like, dude,
While those guys
I-
were just drowning in pussy, you really
Yeah,
showed them.
Yeah,
Like,
dude,
that
I'm
when
cooler
you're-
than you guys, dude. I'm gonna jack off into my sock.
It's like when you go to a football game and you're like, you see like someone like in full face paint. And, like,
Yeah.
you're like, oh, I don't like it like that.
That much.
Like,
Right.
That's a good.
I enjoy the game.
I
but,
watch
like,
it
I'm
from
not
the
a
couch.
fucking lunatic about
Yeah.
it.
Yes. I feel like that, though.
Not a fucking lunatic about it.
I think it might be a little bit of a sickness, though. I think there's at some point you're like, oh, you have a void you're trying to fill.
Oh, him?
No,
No,
not
them.
him.
Them.
Everybody
Yeah,
else.
Yes,
Yeah.
totally. I mean, yeah, like
It is like
there's no doubt that when you start crossing over into like, I would never kink shame, but if you're like pursuing it like that often, you're trying to scratch an itch that shouldn't be scratched or can't be scratched or
I
whatever.
remember
agree with that, yeah.
we used to have Asa Akira, who's a famous porn star, as a co-host of the show.
Yeah.
And she would tell stories about like stuff she's done. And I remember vividly the time where I was like, okay, people like it in different ways, and that's weird. Where she's talking about like getting walked around on a leash and like having to like piss in the house and stuff.
Yeah, but that was usually work.
Yeah, but
Like she wasn't desiring it. She was like fulfilling
Someone
some-
else's.
She
and
used to say that
contractual
like when
agreement.
she would have what do you call it, like her own personal life sex, it was always
Yeah.
like quickies. It was just like fun, normal.
Yeah.
But you're performing for a group of people who like that stuff. So there is
But that wasn't like a video. That was just like someone like paid her or something.
Yeah.
Like that.
Okay. Yeah. Well,
That wasn't like a
that's
movie.
that's
Oh,
the shit
it
where
was
I think
it was
you're
a corporate gig.
Yeah.
the equivalent, the comedy equivalent.
Those
Yes.
ones we get the big bucks.
I
they
honestly
suck and you hate them.
It's
That's
a private
exactly what it is.
gig, you know?
I think
There's
it's
some
really one of those.
C-level guys there. They're in suits, you know.
It's gonna be a quick like 20 grand.
Yeah.
So whatever. We'll just do
Yeah.
quick shit and get
Dude,
out of there.
I
We
saw
do
a
it on a
video-
Tuesday.
I saw a video on like one of our social accounts the other day where it was like someone, it was like one of those like man on the street type videos,
Yeah.
and it was someone asking a girl like, "What's the weirdest thing you ever done?" or something like that, and she said she met like a sugar daddy on some app, showed up, peed on his face, and then she deleted him. She got like I forget what number, maybe it was 10 grand, whatever. Deleted his number, blocked him, never talked to him again. That was in the summer, and then she showed up to class, and it was the professor.
Yo, that's gangster because you're getting an A in
Yeah,
that.
I was about to say, I
Like,
would have
I'll
done
see you at the end of the
one-
semester,
right,
sir.
Right.
You know?
You go, did I get a P+?
Yo, that's the other side of that though. I mean, I guess I'm sure when you get onto some of the levels, you're signing NDAs and shit.
Yes.
But like, you get down in some weird circles, and then those worlds start to overlap, and it's like, well, now my professor pees on me, or vice versa. You know,
It
it's
was
like,
vice versa.
yeah,
She was
but
doing
but
it.
like, you know,
He was
it
the
could
toilet,
have been,
if
you
you
know what I
will.
mean? Yeah, it's just like. The only way I think I would do that stuff would be like in a sanctioned club, I think, because if you run into someone in your regular life, it's like, well, now we can never be friends again.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, very. Or it's like I feel I always hear like the organized stuff, like, you know, an organized orgy where everybody's down and they vet the people beforehand,
yeah.
et cetera, right? Like that shit makes sense, but at that point, those people are so used to it, you know what I mean? That like then they have like orgies and then they watch Fast and Furious afterwards, and they're like, some of those people are just used to that shit.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Like
it's like anything else. It's like you know, when you started having sex, like this is cool, and then you're like, well, I've done that a lot. I want to try this, and and you know, by the time if you're in Hollywood or you're famous or you're rich or you're just like fucking a lot of people, you burn through all the things to do. There's only so many holes and so many things, you know.
I know,
and then
and then
eventually
you
you're
move on.
you know doing weird shit.
It's
Right.
like Spice. Like I've always been the person who's like, I've never in my life have I been like, I like hot food. Like I like being in pain when I'm eating it and sweating and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
you don't like feel anything.
But like now, according to like people who I eat with who have different palates, like I eat crazy spicy food, and I'm like, that's weird because to me it's not like spicy.
But you've been.
I guess I've just been like slowly getting up there.
Yeah.
And people like,
Yeah,
you're
everybody's a.
Everyone's like,
perv by
how
the
are
time
you
they're
eating
50.
this? Like, I just like to enjoy it. I'm like, I am enjoying this. Isn't that spicy to me?
That would be, you know, someone be like, well, you do that in bed? It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, I don't know. I've been doing that for like 10 years. I thought that was normal.
Slowly,
Yeah.
I've been being manipulated by the
By porn.
internet.
Yeah, pretty much.
I guess. I don't know. Maybe I haven't taken the step yet.
How long you been in LA?
March, April?
Oh, yeah, come on, you're fresh.
I know.
You're fresh
I'm
meat.
due. I know. I haven't done like sex cults yet.
Yeah. Was it
I think I have to
Visvim?
ayahuasca first. That's my next thing. I want
Ayahuasca?
ayahuasca.
Are you going to do it?
fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah.
But I don't cry in front of people. They say everybody cries. And they puke. It's like a circle of puking and crying.
They all just kind of yada yada. They're like, so you kind of like shit yourself and throw up for like 5 hours, and then you get to the good stuff. I'm like, I don't want to do that first part.
You go,
that sounds really, really bad.
And you're not even. It's not even private. You're doing it in front of people, each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, but everyone's like, you don't understand.
I know.
It's all an experience together, and that to me, I'll be like, dude, I cried in front of people. If I can do that, that's huge for me.
You're not a crier?
No, I can't. No, I won't show any emotion in front of people.
So you got a boy too, huh?
Yeah. I grew up all brothers and a dad and all boy cousins. So.
Oh, okay.
I'm so happy. I'm so upset.
Are you? Were you like? Trying, like, did it come naturally to you, or were you like, I hate this, I wish I could cry and like be a girl, or are you like, I'm like one of the dudes?
No, I think I got like embarrassed and shamed anytime I cried growing up. So I think I was just like,
yeah, they taught you well.
yeah, I'm like, no, I don't do that shit again. And like, you would cry.
Did you cry privately?
Yeah, I cry in my rental car listening to like some Enya driving down Melrose back and forth at 2 a.m. after a set.
That's almost like that's like taking a shower. Like it's part of, you got to get it out. So like go in the car when you're sad, play some sad music, look at some sad shit when you drive, and cry and get that out of your body.
Yeah, and then you like walk in the apartment and you're like, no,
I'm fine.
Yeah, whatever.
When you get to when you got a good cry going and you get to look in the rearview mirror and see it, and you're like, oh, I am weeping right now.
It does feel good.
You're like, I shouldn't be driving.
Yeah. Sometimes when you do get a good cry going, you do get kind of sad when you can feel it. It starts to be over.
Oh,
you know, you're like,
for
I'm
sure.
feeling good, and you're like, fuck. I know.
No, they're really. I think there's almost something physiological about like getting it out of your system a little bit, because I will be like, the rare times I do just, I'm Irish, I just bottle it down, and then probably used to be like once or twice a year, maybe it's like quarterly now. I just erupt, but then I erupt for like 60 seconds, and then I'm good. And if I do it in front of someone, they're like, "How can I help?" And I'm like, "I'm good, I'm done, we're good.
Yeah,
like let's go back to watching TV." And they're like, what do you mean? We got to work through this. I'm like, no, we'll do this again in March. Like,
right,
you know
right.
What I mean? I'm not saying that's the right way, but that's just the way.
Yeah, I like it though. Do you cry in front of people? Like,
I try not to, but like I have relatively recently. I mean, I wouldn't cry like at work. I wouldn't, like, it would only be private, like, you know what I mean? But I've gone through some things where I just couldn't help it. But but it takes a lot to get there.
If I cry in front of somebody, I'm like, I'll never
see you again.
I'll never talk to you.
Really?
Even if like a boyfriend, a family member, like someone like that's even worse.
Yeah, they have power over me. I don't know. How could I?
I'm showing weakness.
Yeah. They have me changed.
We're now switching. You're on the couch now.
No, I'm actually
power over me.
I can't. I gotta move on.
I'm the opposite of you guys. Where like I don't cry in front of people regularly. But I also don't have like major breakdowns. I just have a lot. Like I'm just always leaking.
Micro
breakdowns. You?
Oh yeah, dude.
Really?
Like all the time. And
I didn't
he
think
cried. Jamie Buffett died. He cried.
I
actually did too for a second, but I was by myself.
I was by myself, but like.
And then who else? Somebody else.
When Blink put out their new video, I cried.
Put out their new song, I cried.
Blink 182 had their new song, I cried.
What?
It was one of those where like it was like. Didn't realize I was this invested in this. Okay.
Have you heard the song?
No.
It's all like about like getting old and kind of losing friends, and like why did it take us getting sick to like get back together, and why did we wait so long, and all these regrets.
The only 2 times Blinks were united is after Travis Barker was in the plane crash and he almost died, and then now after Mark Hoppus got cancer. And it's about like, why does it take these big things for us to get back together, blah blah blah. And I was just thinking about the homies, you know, and
oh my.
No,
see, do girls like we had this debate along like last year or a few years ago on one of our shows, and it was like, would you rather go home with like the prettiest girl, the hottest girl, you know, do the craziest shit, or would you rather make the homies laugh? And every guy to a man was like, we would rather just hang out with the boys and clown around and laugh.
Yeah.
And is that the equivalent for girls though? I feel like it's not. I guess it would maybe be a little bit different. Like, would you want to like gossip with the girls versus like going home with Prince Charming? But I feel like the girls are taking the boy over the girls?
Until your 30s.
And then you switched it back to girls?
Yeah, I think so. I think for sure. You know what it's kind of like, but I feel like as girls, like especially in college and in my 20s, when you had that crazy hookup or that insane date, you were like, it was almost like content for your friends. You're like, I can't fucking And so you like have to
for your friends, which was cool.
South Carolina Gamecock, baby.
We got a guy
and so it was almost like you were doing it for yourself, but you were also like, "Dog, I'm about to be the star of the living room tomorrow."
Jackie, do you agree? Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think everyone acts that way, or do you think it's the people in our profession? Like, because I always, that was my way too, where I was like, I don't care what happens tonight. I'm just getting a story to tell the fellas tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I wonder if like that's a regular thing.
No,
or
I
if
think we're
that's people
sick.
who
I
like
think we're all sick.
end up in entertainment are people.
No,
who think
I mean, do it for the story is definitely a thing, but I feel like, I mean, when bad shit happens to me in my life, I'm like, ooh, podcast tomorrow, let's go. So I think we're probably a little bit warped in that regard.
Yeah, I don't think it's. I think it's a smaller percentage than you think of people who are like, I'm just doing this. Like, whatever happens, I don't fucking care. I don't care if I get paid. I don't care if like. I just want to be able to entertain my friends tomorrow at dinner or tomorrow at lunch. Or brunch, or
right.
I don't know. I think you'd be surprised. I remember we were in an all-girls dorm in college, and the end of our freshman year, like the bulletin, I remember somebody just listed everyone's names and then listed everybody they'd hooked up with that year. And we would walk up and be pissed and be like, "You forgot 3 under my name." and like we were all in a competition
crazy,
to like, and they weren't even like, it wasn't to be like who hooked up with the most. It would be like, he's nasty, he's gross, you sick fuck, you know? And like we would be like, yeah, I'm disgusting. And
that's awesome.
Yeah.
I think,
that's the coolest story I've ever heard a girl tell.
Yeah. Maybe it's like a Southern girl thing. I mean, we were South Carolina, there's a bunch of like Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina girls,
like
but
no slut shaming going on there. Like,
no, it was like you better get in there, slut. You better record the whole thing. You better you better remember everything tomorrow. And like we were like, I don't know. We were kind of everybody. I mean, and these are mothers now.
Yeah.
Yo, that is so weird to me. Like,
yeah,
I see, somebody's like, this is my new like knitting needlepoint company that I like, and it's like, oh, that girl I went to college with, holy shit.
Yeah.
We called her baseball bat because the first night she, like
she put a baseball bat in her?
Yeah.
Oh my God. A Louisville
I'm
Slugger?
just mixing stories here, but yeah.
I think y'all are looking at it as like, oh, the girl wants to go home with the guy for the validation, because she wants the guy to like her. I think deep down we're more like guys than we think.
I do think there might be a little geographical thing going on here, though.
You think so?
I mean, I'm from New York and like been here my whole life, and I don't know many girls who I think are like that.
Really?
Like I know girls who like gossip and all that shit, but I do also know girls who are just heavy. Like, I need to find a boyfriend and not to talk to my girlfriends about it. Like.
Yeah.
Because I need to have a man, and like I want him to make money, and I want to have a family.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like totally shallow reasons. It was like I want to start my life and all this shit.
Yeah.
But it was like pushing 30 and I don't have my boyfriend yet. Not like, I don't know, let's fuck this. I'll suck this guy's dick and talk to my friends about it in the morning.
Right.
So maybe that's just me personally. Maybe that's a city thing, south and north. I don't know, but
I think it depends on how many girlfriends you have and how close you are.
Well, I again, in my experience, I know a lot of girls who like always had falling outs and backstabbing, and but I also know girls who are like boys, like stereotypically speaking, like boys who are like, we're best buddies and we're gross in front of each other and we would tell deep dark secrets and all that. So I guess it's probably a case by case thing, but
yeah, it depends on your tribe.
Yeah, it really does though.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know. I think it is like a Southern thing. We definitely had some of my friends were in college for their MRS degree.
Well, I was just gonna say the Ring by Spring. I never had that experience at all, but he's told me about that stuff. So like, there's definitely Southern girls who are for sure that way. But I could also see Southern girls being like, I don't give a fuck if I'm not married by 30. Like, whatever,
I went to FSU, and like that was the stereotype. But like everyone would talk about it. But like in actually talking to people, I never really met maybe one or two girls who were like, I just want to find a husband.
Who were outwardly about it?
Yeah.
You would be like, this is absolutely what I'm here for.
Right.
Now, mind you, I
work.
wasn't talking to many women.
Yeah.
Again, I was with the homies.
Hey, we just like ended up at the bathroom at the same time. We didn't know what to talk to.
Dude, I remember I couldn't get a date to formal. We had a formal. That's how
How?
that New Orleans thing happened. Was that like
Wow.
I was in a fraternity and like they were like, who are you taking to formal tonight? I was in Tallahassee at FSU and we were going to New Orleans and I was like, I haven't even asked anybody. And they were like, what are you talking about? Like, we've had like 10 mixers about this. And I was like, I don't know. I haven't talked to a girl.
What? But girls were like desperate to go on a formal. Like, you could have found somebody.
Bro,
And
you
like,
had to be the worst frat boy
oh,
ever.
I hated it.
Except for
You
drinking.
didn't like
You're good
it?
drinking.
No, I was not a frat guy.
You weren't like brotherhood.
No, not at
No.
all. Not at all.
You weren't? You
No.
look bred
You-
for it.
Looks the part.
Yeah.
Tallahassee, Florida State for sure looks the part, but
It was.
And I actually
I found
think
it
you
also
kinda
silly. I
became-
did it because everyone does it, but like I found it very silly.
But I always think it's. I always.
you were a
this-
sorority girl.
Yeah, but I was like the same way. I was like, this is silly stuff. But sororities weren't as like sisterhood, you know, like we'll
like rules of the chapter, and
right,
things like that,
right, and you know, get on all fours and you know puke until
Yeah.
your friend's done with 100 push-ups and shit. Like
Right.
it wasn't like that. But I always the frat thing was always like. If you were outside, because I went to South Carolina from Kentucky, so I was a little bit removed from like, the like eliteness of the South Carolina boys and girls. You know what I mean? Like I
They're,
didn't grow up
there.
going from Columbia or Charleston or anything,
Sure.
and like, so I was a little bit removed, and that's when you can kind of see a little bit of the bullshit of it.
Right.
Yeah.
And it is essentially like it's teenagers bullying other teenagers
Totally.
who
It's the most
got
childish
bullied.
shit in the world.
It is so dumb.
Yeah.
And then afterwards you get out of it and you're like, there's not really any benefit once you get out of it. Like
I love when I used to hear that about like, it's
Like-
gonna help you get a job.
Right.
Like, shut the fuck
right.
up.
And you hear about like, oh, this guy's still a chapter mentor, and you're like, he's 53 years old. Move
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Grow
like,
up.
that's the last guy I want to be around.
Why?
The
Yeah. Why
50-year-old
are you
hanging
still
around the college kids?
Right. Yeah.
I remember,
It's definitely fun and like it's a fun party, but the whole like BS around brotherhood and how we'll help advance each other in life. It's like, no, you're just spanking each other and
Yeah.
making each other butt
just wanna
chugs.
get
I
fucked
heard.
up.
I
Like-
heard. One of my friends was like, we like traveled the country and like always had a place to stay, and like I like that. I was like,
Yeah.
that's cool. Like you could just show up and be like, I'm a beta, gamma, whatever,
Right.
and just like here's a bed, brother. But
Yeah.
okay, I don't know if I could never do any of that crazy shit, like paddling and all that. I couldn't even do like. You just tell me what to do. I'd be like, I'm not doing that. Like, give me
Right.
a beer pledge or drive me here. I'd just be like, I'm not doing that. And they'd be
Because
like, you're
it's-
out, and I'd be like, okay.
It's
You know?
teenagers too. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
it's like
yeah,
you're
why-
also a child.
Right.
Right, right.
Doing
Right,
that,
yeah,
like, and they
yeah.
act like I'm a. You're like you're 19.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is like
Right.
that in particular was because I'm from Massachusetts, but so like I
Yeah.
didn't grow up with
Oh.
fraternities and stuff like that. And I remember like a kid I met on the first day was like, "We gotta pledge Pike," and I was like, I wasn't planning on doing anything, but like you see my snap, sure, I'll hang out with you tonight.
Yeah.
And then I like went to like the pledge party or whatever it is, and then like I got brought to the back room, and it was like everyone in like suits, and they were like, "So like, do you want to be a brother here?" And I was like, "Oh, I don't, sure." Like, and like
I would
Right.
have loved to see this, man.
And then-
If there was a camera back there of
Yeah.
them being like, what is this guy's deal?
And
Right.
they were like it was like they're like, this is like a pretty big it was
deal.
almost out of a movie where they're like, you're not handling this with the respect it deserves. I was like, I don't know what we're doing, dude. Like, this is
Yeah.
like-
You go.
you're-
You shouldn't.
yeah.
You shouldn't be either.
This
Like,
seems
Pike's
a
in
little
the-
silly.
like,
Like,
you're
why are
like-
there candles in this room?
Why are we naked under robes? And why are you spanking us?
It was like Sunny when Smitty remember Jason Sudeikis guest stars and they're trying to initiate him into the gang.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they're like, you gotta take someone, and he's like, I mean, this is crazy, guys,
Yeah,
right?
what
Yeah,
are we
you're
doing
like,
here?
Hey,
Yeah.
this is kind of gay.
Yeah.
Pike
Which
for
I'm
the-
fine with. Like, you guys want to fucking like, you guys
Yeah.
want to like wrestle? It's like, cool, I'm in. But like,
But let's
Why
not
would you
say
do
it's
that?
yeah.
Well, Pikes were the,
That was the
like, you guys
most
were,
fun
like,
I ever
meatheads,
had.
right? You guys like known
Yeah.
for being like the biggest like workout meatheads.
Yo, big time.
It's
And
like-
that was like
That's
the most.
crazy to me.
Honestly, the only fun time I had
Was lifting?
in that frat was there was one night during Hell Week as a pledge where like we had a candle in the corner of the room, and it was like we're in like the chapter room, whatever it's called, and it was like. Dude. if one of the brothers blew it out, like you guys, like we didn't get to sleep that night or whatever. So like brothers would just come running in trying to rush it.
And you like,
and we were just fucking protecting it. Like it was all worth it.
Then
for
you're
that
basically
one.
playing capture the flag.
I could have gone out afterwards, and been like, all right, I think that was fun, and I think probably it's not gonna get better from this, so I'm out.
And on a high note, the candle, the candle was good.
Kyle Long was in it then.
That's great.
So we had like Kyle Long. Like,
that's fucking hilarious to think about that. Somebody trying to get my Kyle Long.
But some people believe that and be like, we really stuck together.
Yeah,
and we did something that
But
night.
those people are stupid.
Very much.
Like I'm like, yo, if that really left an impact on you, I don't want to be snobby, but like you don't have a brain.
Yes.
Like, come on.
But you're coming from up here.
Yeah,
There's people down there that like
so.
really take that.
I hate
seriously.
to think that way because I do not think I'm better than anybody, and I
It's
don't.
okay.
And I don't.
You should. Some people you should.
I don't think that way, but there definitely are some stereotypes where I'm just like, oh, I'm like those guys could like beat the shit out of me probably, and I'm like a pussy compared to them, but I'm just like we just don't.
No,
You know, we're thinking about different things. What?
They will pay someone to beat the shit.
That's probably it. That's what I do. I'm just gonna try to make enough money that I can pay people to do anything I need them to do.
You're dirty shit.
Not even I mean like my car breaks down. I can't. I'm not a handy guy. I can't build shit. I can't fix the carburetor. I can't do carpentry on the house. But I'll pay somebody to do it.
I've got a flat, and I was back home in Massachusetts, and I had to ask a 16-year-old kid. I don't know his age. He was working, so he's actually of age, but he was very tiny. And I was like, "Can you help me lift my car?" And he was like, "What do you mean?" And I was like, get it up so I can get the tire." I was like, "I can do the tire part." Like I was like,
"But you didn't."
I didn't know how to do
with the jack.
With the jack, yeah.
Okay, you weren't saying like,
no,
let's pick it up.
No.
Okay, because then you're really
and
dumb.
he was like, he rolls his eyes like, "I guess," and I was like, "All right, dude. Like,
Settle
I
down.
have other skills. Just
Right.
I can do shit you can't do."
Have you heard me host read an ad?
Well, that's
seamless.
our
Fucking
shit.
seamless, dude.
Our shit's not cool. That's the problem. Like, there's just certain things, like if you can't drive a stick shift, it's like, I don't give a fuck about that. But a lot of people agree that that's just a skill you're supposed to have. And I'm like, I just do not care.
It doesn't matter anymore. It's all about
It's all about podcast ad reads.
It's all about personality now. It doesn't matter about like handy skills anymore.
I kind of disagree though. Like I if I could do those things, even I have not needed to change a tire, but like if I knew I could do it quick, if I knew I could change my own oil, fix, like I said, the anything going on with the engine, if I could like, oh, something's broken in the house, let me like get out the saw and do it all, I would be proud of that. But I'm also just not gonna like take the time to learn how to do it.
We sit here and we laugh about it and it's silly and all that stuff, but like if I do something that would be considered traditionally manly,
oh, the whole world's gonna
You're like pumped about it?
I am like,
oh, I'll make a documentary about it. I'll be like, the day I changed the tire.
I'll just stare in a mirror for the next hour. Like, you are a marvel, dude.
You are a man.
You guys trust yourselves more than like my boyfriend's like he like changed my whatever starter in my car and shit, and he was like, he did it for my birthday, and I kind of wanted to be like, I don't trust you. I don't. Yeah, I don't think
that if you're gonna do that shit, you better be like,
I
would never.
Watching a YouTube clip, and I'm like,
that's...
He was watching YouTube reels about how to change accelerator or whatever.
Not even a full video. Like, what are we
doing? A short?
Mind you, I was talking about like I literally was thinking about and referring to a time I changed my light bulb. Because my ceilings are really high. It's tough.
Your cleaning family couldn't. They were on holiday.
It really is. I don't know how you did it because they are like 100 foot ceilings.
The ceilings are like higher than this. And I was like for like weeks. I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna get up there. And I texted my super and he didn't reply because I was like, hey, some lights are on my apartment. And he must have been like, what the fuck is this, a prank?
Right.
Like, and so I moved a table and it says like I'm not gonna buy a ladder to change one light. Like that's crazy. So I like moved the table and like put a chair on top of that and then climbed up.
Got all the way up.
And I was like, it's pretty good, yeah. And
yeah, it is. Yeah,
I built a fucking pillow fort to get.
I was gonna say, if you fell off that thing, you're fucking done.
I know that's how you go out. And we're like,
just a pool of blood.
Yeah,
come in,
and
like,
a light bulb in your hand.
You guys say he OD'd.
Yeah.
Let's
go
with
some crack
that.
on the guy.
I keep a bottle of fentanyl in my pocket just in case I have to do handiwork.
Wait, before the corner, can you sprinkle some of that everywhere? Put some on his nose.
He left a note. Suicide? No, it was just like, this is probably going to be an accident.
Yeah. Blame it on my
Suicide by
superintendent.
That is great.
It was. Do you have something like that? Like, you referenced your boyfriend changing. Like, do you have something where, like, and you probably don't know because these things, like, you only know when you see it, but, like, maybe, like, if a guy can't do something like an ick.
The ick, yeah.
Like, where you're like, oh, you can't even blank.
Dude, I'm so independent. Not really. Honestly, it's, I just get, like, this is gonna set women back.
Let's go.
I hate this. But, like, my only ick, and my boyfriend doesn't do this, but, like, when dudes are adamant about, like, splitting bills and like,
I'm with you on that.
and feel like being like, no, we have to, everything should be 50-50 and we're even and equal now. And I'm like, nah, bitch. We have to put makeup on every morning. So for every hour I spend on makeup and, like, shaving all the hair off my body,
$100 on the bill.
Yeah, I want it docked on every. I hate guys who are, like, adamant about like financial.
I'm with you on that.
I agree with that.
I have never once thought about that. Like, a bill or a girl's salary or their job. Like, I will date a bum ass bitch if I like her. Like, I do not care if she makes money or is successful. And but I've also just, like, I was just always like, you have to make your own money, and then
for sure.
But I never wouldn't put that on a girl either. Like, you don't have to make my own money. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's
I just don't like. It's not like I expect a guy to cover everything, but it's when guys are like,
they make a thing about it.
it. I'm like, shut the
right.
fuck. Then, like,
it's not the actual bill. It's that you're like, women need to be
right, and I'm like,
dude.
you're that. I'm like, you're weak. Like, if you can't make enough to that you're asking a woman to, like, cover you. I'm like, oh, you're a bitch.
You're gonna get eat up for this one.
I do.
Yeah.
I am not good with finances, but, like, I've never once in my life considered being like, let's split this.
Or been like, like, I'll wait to see if she reaches for the bill and then I'll pay. And it's just like, here's a card and we're gonna continue our date.
But
yes.
I will say there are times where I'm like, not even a fake, huh?
Yeah.
And that's like, and usually it's with, like, women who, like, we hang out all the time, and they know I'm gonna pay for it. So,
right.
but I'm still kind of like, didn't even pretend for a second.
They don't do this.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You have it. Oh, my purse was so far away. Yeah.
You don't have to throw it at me.
Yeah,
I'm gonna get it.
Yeah.
But, like,
let's not make a thing of it.
Don't push it across the table disgustingly.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's maybe that's like a Southern in something in me. I don't like it. I'm not.
Well, I mean, so I think there's a lot of things there. There's like the Southern hospitality, Southern charm, Southern rules, and then also you coming from a house of literally all dudes, is got to be an intimidating
absolutely
situation.
No, my brothers are the smallest.
Oh, really?
Smallest men. Not in, like, no, they are actually literally small, but no, they were not. But I think that's the reason.
Wait, they literally are not.
They
really
are
small.
They are small.
They're
like,
small
my
men.
older brother was shorter than me, and was never, like, an intimidating brother at all. But I think that was it. Is like, I ran with the boys or whatever, right? And then, like, I worked and I had my own jobs and whatever else shit. So, like, I supported myself or whatever. Like, I paid myself, like, I had jobs all throughout college and whatever else. And so I was like, if I can support myself and pay my own bills, I don't want to be with a guy who's bitching about money.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm like, that's weak shit.
Yeah. I almost I feel like you're talking about something very specific.
No.
I feel like some guys at home watching this crying right now.
I think I go, you should appreciate what I am and what I do. I'm not a moocher, so don't bitch about money. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You're almost making an assumption about me by I get that.
And I'm look at me, I'm a catch. Look at this jailbait jumpsuit.
I mean, I've worn a Halloween costume that looks similar to that.
I know. I get
jumpsuits are kind of your thing though, right? I feel like I've always seen you in like one pieces, onesies. I don't know what to call them.
You call them onesies.
Onesies,
oh,
okay.
like the Facebook comments are like, "Oh my God, look, what is she doing? She's dressed like a little baby." And I'm like,
You're a baby.
Yeah.
But it is like you do that on purpose, or you like is it
No,
like a look, or you just like those clothes? Because I do
I'm
feel like a lot of the clips I see you and you're wearing like zip
I
up.
love jumpsuit. The crotch is roomy.
But isn't it a pain in the ass to go to the bathroom?
I
You
don't.
gotta get like naked to pee, don't you?
But, yeah, it's great.
That's why I do it.
You get a little break from it all, you know.
I always wonder who utilizes the hangers on the back of stall doors.
Bro, I had a guy
Yes.
friend who was a bigger guy and always like, he's always farting and shit. And one of those guys, and he, like, at his corporate job, he takes off all his clothes to shit. He would take off his jacket, take off his shirt, and then like he could have like a wife beater on, take all that off and hang it on the hook and shit, and then put all of his clothes back on. And I was like, "What are you doing when you shit? I think you're shitting wrong if you need to do that." He was like, "I gotta be free." I'm like, "What?"
In public, not in his house.
Like yeah. I mean, behind the fucking stall door, but yeah.
Yeah. Oh, he just doesn't want to go to work. He wasn't excused. No, this is like women's excuse to like one. It's easy to pack. You just throw in a one piece whatever.
Yeah,
but
it's
half
like the clothes instead of pants and shirt. It's one thing.
And like this is a weird thing when you're on stage I hate to like think about it so much, but you don't want to look too pretty on stage because then people
it's for sure a thing you got to worry about, which is annoying.
You feel like, and especially when you first come out on stage, like if people don't, like if I'm opening for somebody, right, it's not my show, people don't know who I am, I already have the assumption you walk out, people are like, who did she sleep with, what is she, this isn't
unfortunately
a comic.
It's probably a good bar to like start
like and that. You like have to kind of come out with a lot of confidence and I don't do like dating material or like dirty stuff right up top because I don't. Then it's like, oh, here's the girl talking about the girl stuff, and on top of that, you have to think about your clothes. Like you can't like, I don't want to wear shit that's too tight because then people say like somebody's date is pissed off because there's like some attractive woman on stage or whatever.
But I agree with all this, and it's just very realistic to like worry about it and think about it, but also fuck all of it too. It's all so stupid.
You think that, but it's weird.
But it's also like if you want to, make the right steps in your career and all that shit, you got to play the game. But it's like,
so this is like not too flowy, not too tight.
That
jumpsuit. Yeah, that's the.
Do you think guys have similar conversations
about what they're wearing? No, not at all.
I would.
I disagree with that. I bet guys.
I'd be concerned with like, and we do like live shows, not comedy, but like I'm not like stressing over it, but I'm like, this is what I want them to think. Like I don't like, sometimes like Kevin says, I dress up sometimes. I don't do that at live shows. I just dress like in a t-shirt and jeans.
Yeah. Because you don't want to look like you're trying too
I don't want to look like I'm trying too hard.
I bet comics, especially when they first get money and shit, are like, well, I do have nice clothes now, but I was kind of like one of the everyman, and now I'm not. And I bet they go through some variation of that.
Yeah.
I mean, you have had, like the last couple years, I would say, have been better for you, right? You're making more money.
I'm not nannying.
You're not nannying. But like, if you were to all of a sudden be like dripping in jewelry and like nice shit, I'm sure it would affect
for sure
what people think or whatever.
And then like, and it also affects what kind of comic you are and like your material. Like I can't be dripping in gold earrings and and looking like Joan Rivers and 100%. Then going and talking about the shit, like my cousin, shooting squirrels for dinner and shit.
Maybe you could. Yeah. Maybe that would be cool. Look at this baller ass bitch with a ton of money who used to eat squirrels for dinner.
That's actually a good point.
It is kind of a good, like, you should do that once you're like really, when you really feel like you're done and you made it. Like specials and money and selling. It's like, I'm like still that person, but I'm richer than you. That's kind of a cool dynamic.
Yeah, I never like do too much. I mean, this is lift makeup. I did this on the way. I've never like been the
just a natural beauty.
I am. Guys, I really am, and I can't turn it off. It's literally like it's
just
here
too hot all the time.
Yeah, I turn it off and it's still on. But that will be the day I can pay for a cleaner, a driver, somebody to make my food and to dress me is that's the goal. Yeah.
It's a pretty high
cleaner,
bar.
meaning like clean your house?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, you just get the child labor.
Yeah, I got some kids.
Those are you don't have to wait. You can afford that shit.
You can do that right now.
Can you get out at 10 p.m. tonight?
Yeah.
All right, I love it. So what are you promoting anything specific right now?
I'm on tour. I don't know what's coming out. I have a New York show.
Probably
tomorrow.
Thursday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I have a New York show. Laurie Beecham Theater, November 8th. I'm doing it part of the New York Comedy Festival.
Cool.
I'm recording a special in December at the Louisville Comedy Club. And I've got a podcast about cheating.
Oh, yeah?
Called Cheaties.
Cheaties.
People call in and tell us their cheating stories. I do it with another comedian, Lace Larrabee.
What was your basis for starting that? Do you have a good one where you were the
I had two.
So
well,
who were you cheating on?
I was.
Were you? Oh,
yeah.
wow.
But that was the original story. The catalyst was I was dating a comic and he cheated on me, and I called this other comic in the Atlanta comedy scene who had a bit about cheating on, and we started this podcast. But my original one, I've talked about this online before, but I was dating a guy in high school and I cheated on him, and I think maybe we were on a break. Whatever. I went out of town for a Christmas vacation, and he ended up hooking up with this girl who would come back. She moved out of town from Louisville, right? She went to New York to become a model, and she would come back in the holidays to hang out with her cousin, who was our friend, right? So he hooked up with Carrie's cousin that night, right? And then we got back together because I was like, oh, we're even now. You hooked up with Carrie's cousin. I cheated on you. We both kissy. It's all good. And then that Carrie's cousin ended up becoming Jennifer Lawrence.
No.
Yeah. And I'm like working on a bit on stage about it because she,
Yep, that's
like
that's
the day
story.
after he admitted that he hooked up with her, the next day, because she used to be just a girl that was like, it would come to parties with Carrie over the summer or on Christmas break or whatever. And she was, I think I probably interacted with her one time, but I just remember her being like, oh, she was like a girl amongst the high school parties, right?
Yeah.
But the next day after he admitted that he had hooked up with her, there was a write-up in the newspaper about how she was in a TV show. And I was like, I was weirdly like that kid that I always wanted to be in theater, but I didn't want to admit it. I was like, no, I'm cool. I don't want to be like one of those nerds. Yeah. And I was like, Fox, bitch. She's like doing everything I wanted to. And she's like,
Well, wait, but she didn't like blow up until like that was high school. That was a long time ago.
Yeah,
right?
I
And
remember.
she didn't blow up till like later 20s, or
No.
was she like a child star too?
No, she wasn't a child star.
Right, so
She
you didn't know for a little while.
She was like in a TV show, right? And then she was this. I really was kind of obsessed. Like it was weird of me. I know
You're a
but
girl.
I remember,
You're
I
still a
know.
girl.
I was like,
Deep down.
no, I don't care. I would do this because I would go to my other like friends in high school and I'd be like, do you recognize this girl? Because I would be like, if my friends start recognizing her name, that means she's becoming famous.
Yeah.
And I remember she played Bill Engvall's daughter in Bill Engvall's sitcom he had for a minute.
Yeah.
And I was, every time it was like,
Oh, that's like hitting close
she's
to
growing.
home too, Bill Engvall.
Right,
Like,
right.
That's my territory,
Yeah,
bitch.
And I was just still like on JV cross country. That was my greatest accomplishment. I was like, fuck. And so I went to college and I went to South Carolina and asked my friends like, I would be like, do you know who this girl? Do you know who Jennifer Lawrence is? And they'd be like, no. And then
she was in X-Men.
right, and then nobody knew because the Winter's Bone came out. I am so stopped up. Winter's Bone came out, and nobody really recognized her, right? And then Hunger Games came out, and I didn't know what Hunger Games was, but my friends in college came up to me and they're like, "Do you know that girl you're obsessed with?" And I was like, "Nah, no." And
when they come back to you, you know it's an obsession.
And I was like, I think I'm gonna do comedy. And then I remember when she fell up the Oscar steps. Do you remember that to accept her speech? I remember I'm in college and we're all sitting on the couches, right? And they announced Jennifer Lawrence wins, and I remember all my friends go, And they're all staring at me. And then she walks up and trips on the steps. And they're like, didn't you love that? And I was like, no, now she's America's sweetheart. Now she's relatable.
She trips too.
So it's been good. And I don't hang on to anything.
I feel like this is something that she would like reply to on social media or something. I could see, because she's America's sweetheart.
I know.
Being like, isn't that so like funny how she like talked to the girl who?
You guys could be like Taylor and Sophie Turner.
Exactly.
But
she
I'm
would
not
take you to
Sophie
dinner and it
Turner.
would be a thing.
Yeah, I think this is my plan.
She also might be terrified of you.
No, why?
That might be the only thing holding her back.
I'm in my jumpsuit, my jail jumpsuit. I'm like, what's the issue? Here's my shiv. It slips out. I will talk about it on a talk show one day, and they'll be like, well, let's hear Jennifer's side of the story.
Yes.
And then I imagine her coming out and me and be like, but what really
Everyone's
happens?
dancing with Ellen.
Yeah,
Love American Hustle.
Yeah.
What really is gonna happen is she's gonna be like, yeah, I don't remember that.
That dude I kissed in high school.
Right,
you
right.
loser.
That literally drove my entire career. And it was a Wednesday for me.
Right, exactly. It's my launching point. It's like, I've only became a comedian so I could get on a talk show to be surprised by Jennifer Lawrence one day. And she's like, I dated this lead singer of Coldplay. I don't give a shit. So I've thought about this a little bit.
That's the plot of a goddamn movie, girl.
Yeah,
very, very funny.
That is true.
Very funny. All right, well, go see the shows, check out the podcast, and don't watch Jennifer Lawrence's movies.
Yeah, no X Games. No, when she came out in that sexy little blue suit, I was like, God, it's over. I'm done.
It is so funny that like when. Like I thought about that. Where like I was watching a movie or something like that, and someone was talking about like they were in a fight with their boyfriend. Like, you understand, I have trauma from that. Like, my boyfriend in high school cheated on me, and I was like, that doesn't count.
High school does not count.
That's how those relationships end. You don't get. You're not allowed to carry that trauma. Like those really. Like,
trauma is
like I feel like any relationship before 30, where you're like, I was cheated on. Like fucking everyone was.
I like
dude.
that rule.
Yeah.
Your 20s doesn't count.
Dude, like I got cheated on in my fucking 20s. No shit.
Every year before that is like a huge year. It's like puppy years, you know. Every year it's like everything is different and new, and then 30 hits, and you're like, everything's done now.
Yeah, nothing matters.
And now it's slow, and now we have to be in serious relationships. Yeah.
All right, great stuff. Thank
you so much.
Thanks, guys. Dude, I gotta go blow my nose now.
All right, big thanks for watching. If you made it through this whole episode, that means you should be subscribed. There's so many of you out there who watch and don't subscribe, so make sure you are a KFC Radio subscriber. Make sure you get all the content when it drops. Click that button now.
I have 9 fingers. I'm still subscribed. It's that easy.